Traditional Vedic astrology relies on the Ascendant, or Lagna, as its absolute anchor. It is the starting point for house ownership, divisional charts, and the mathematical calculations of the Vimshottari Dasha. But Bhrigu Nandi Nadi begins by setting all of that aside. This system operates without a moving ascendant or the concept of rotating houses. It treats the zodiac as a permanent, unchanging grid. The ancient Nadi texts describe a deterministic, algorithmic method of reading charts that bypasses house-based calculations in favor of planetary interaction. Instead of houses, the 12 signs represent the Kal Purusha, or time personified. Every sign is mapped to a specific part of this cosmic anatomy, from Aries at the head to Pisces at the feet. We read these planetary positions as a syntactic narrative. Predictions are not based on traditional aspects, but on how planets align across elemental planes. By isolating the life force, defining the rules of interaction, and mapping transits, we can build a predictive framework from first principles, one that functions without using a single astrological house. The board is immutable. Because there is no ascendant to shift the perspective, Aries is always the first sign, and the board never rotates. Connection in this system is determined by directional planes. The east directional plane connects Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. This triangular vector allows planets to share data across the grid. The same geometry applies to the south, west, and north planes. This trinal connection groups planets based on their first, fifth, and ninth relative positions. BNN weights these connections by their elemental affinity. While planets in the same sign are the most powerful, those sharing a directional plane are considered nearly as strong, sharing 75% of their energy across the triangle. This organizes the zodiac into a static, interconnected circuit, where planetary influence is determined by fixed position rather than line-of-sight aspects. To find the native in this fixed grid, we use the Jiva Karaka, or the life force significator. Jupiter acts as the Jiva Karaka for men, while Venus serves as the life force for women. Saturn is the Karma Karaka. It is the primary variable for professional trajectory and action in every chart, regardless of gender. The other planets act as functional modifiers. The Sun signifies the father and government authority, the Moon represents the mind and domestic changes, and Mercury carries the data for intellect and education. The lunar nodes provide the extremes. Rahu acts as a multiplier and a source of illusion, while Ketu signifies blockages and the eventual path to salvation. In this system, planets are autonomous variables. To understand a career, you locate Saturn and analyze the planets sharing its directional plane. The predictive algorithm follows a specific syntax: the Karaka plus the dispositor plus any conjunctions. In this example, we have placed Mars and the Moon together in the sign of Taurus. We start with their natural significations. Then we check the dispositor, the lord of the sign they sit in. Since Venus rules Taurus, it acts as the host. Next, we examine the union. Planets sharing the same sign operate at 100% strength. Within that union, the planet with the lowest degree is the anchor. Because Mars is at 3 degrees and the Moon is at 8, Mars commands the narrative. We then look at the signs immediately adjacent. Planets in the second sign from the Karaka represent what is arriving in the future, while those in the 12th sign indicate past baggage or inherited obstacles. Reading a chart becomes a process of following this syntax from left to right, creating a literal sentence of events. While the natal chart represents ecstatic promise, transits, or gochar, determine the timing. Major events are timed using only the 4 slow-moving entities: Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu. Activation occurs when a transit planet physically enters the sign of a natal conjunction or moves into its directional trine. Timing is a matter of mechanical alignment. When the moving transit hits a static natal node, the event manifests. To see this in practice, we can apply the algorithm to our previous example, Mars and the Moon in Taurus. We will use these variables to determine a career path. Mars is the lowest degree, establishing the core theme of the career as drive or courage. The Moon adds the modifier of emotional intuition. Taurus is ruled by Venus, which brings in the theme of art and design. The resulting syntax points to a profession that requires artistic drive and the translation of emotion, frequently seen in high-end architecture or the film industry. This career promise triggers when transiting Saturn, the Karma Karaka, enters Taurus or its directional trines in Virgo or Capricorn. By removing the Ascendant and treating planets as spatial variables, Bhrigu Nandi Nadi offers a consistent, logical framework for calculating life events.